Let's move into the analysis window. One of the things that's nice here in the analysis window is you have the scripture pop-up references. They're all hyperlinked. Notice here, if I put my cursor over reference, they have a pop-up there. It shows the Greek text and the English text. Now you can configure these different things as well. What's going to display there? When you do not have a pop-up there, right-click in the analysis window. And notice at the very bottom, scripture reference pop-ups. By default, it says show on mouse over. Okay? But you can show multiple on click. So here, if I put my cursor now, and I click, and it shows the pop-up, and it stays open. I can move it around. So if you want to keep that open for a bit while you're doing some work, I can go and I can click on another one, and it has multiple pop-ups. I can have multiples of these here if I wish. Okay? Then of course you have to go back and close them. Okay? Another option, scripture reference pop-ups, it shows single on click. Where here I'm clicking, and I can move it over here, but next time I click it changes it. It keeps moving, updating it. But it stays open there as I'm doing other things. So if you want to choose to keep that up, you can do that as well. So I'm going to go back to show on mouse over. Now, how do I choose what versions appear here? Well, you go up under here, that's under View, and choose Pop-up Versions. Now, here's what we have normally. In this case, they have New American Standard /RSV. Why would they have /RSV? What happens if it's a book in the Apocrypha? New American Standard doesn't have that. So that's why it's the New American Standard if it's available. If not, then show the RSV. Okay? And then it has the WTT Hebrew text and then the BGT Greek text. And if you hold down the Shift key, you have just the WTT and just the BGT. This way you don't have the English text show up at all. So you can choose to configure this how you wish. So maybe you want to switch that around. So you're working on your languages and you may only want to look at the Greek and Hebrew text and not the English. You might want to switch that around and say, I'm not going to show my English text until I hold down the Shift key. Because you can modify this. Let's say I don't want the NAS, instead I want the ESV. I'm just going to type ESV. And click OK. So now when I put my cursor here, notice that it's the ESV text that's there, and the Greek text. If I hold down the Shift key, put my cursor on there, I only have the Greek text. Now I'm going to go back to the Hebrew Bible, and I'm going to go back down to a definition here. Let's say I need a Hebrew Bible reference here. Let's display the WTT. Okay. And here Isaiah 47:10. Notice I have the Greek text, I have the English, and I have the Hebrew. I'm going to shift, and now all I have is the Greek and Hebrew. So that's how I specified it in my pop-up versions specifications. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. Now, depending on how you like it, remember how you hold down the Shift key and the analysis window does not update? Well, you can also select Update Only when the Shift key is depressed. If I check that, now I come back here to my browse window, it doesn't change at all when I move my cursor around. Until I hold down the Shift key, and then it will change. Okay? So it depends on what your study style is, what you prefer. You can do one or the other. Okay? Now, if you want to copy this text, this will be a bit of text here. Let me get a smaller entry here. You can right-click and copy the analysis window text to the clipboard or to the editor. And I copy it to the clipboard, go back to my editor, and then you can just paste it in there. So there is that whole lexicon entry. So that's an easy way of copying your lexicon entries. Notice it also brings in the parsing information too, because that was also here in the analysis window. Okay. Now, if you want, you can also just go and say you only want to copy a certain selected portion. You can highlight something and then do like the Windows Control-C. And then when I go back to my editor, I'm Okay, clear this editor window and paste, and that's just the section I highlighted. And notice that also is now, that's in Unicode. That also converts that to Unicode. Okay. You're learning languages, and you want to only see parsing information for words that do not occur very frequently. You can right-click, and it says Enable Frequency Filter for Greek and Hebrew. Okay, so that enables that. Now this frequency filter, the settings for that are back in the Options window. So go to Tools and Options, and I believe it's Miscellaneous. And right here, Analysis Window Frequency Cutoff. So notice we had to enable the cutoff. So if I want to say only words that appear over, say, 50 times in Greek, click OK. And now I go back to Greek here. And notice what it says here now. The form RK comes from a root which occurs 55 times. That exceeds the current frequency cutoff for the analysis window display. So you're not going to see that. So now you're challenged that you have to know these words. You're not going to see the words you should already know. But if you go to a word that does not occur that much, there you go, then it still displays your parsing information and lexicon information. Okay? So that's the frequency cutoff. So I can right-click and you can enable or disable that frequency cutoff. Now I turn that off, and now all the words will work once again. Okay? Now if you do not want the parsing information, just the parsing information, notice by default it says Enable Parsing Information for Greek and Hebrew. So that is your parsing information appears up here at the top of the analysis window. But if you're challenging yourself with your parsing, you can uncheck that. Now you put your cursor on the words, your lexicon entries are there, but it does not give you the parsing information. So you're challenging yourself then to try to figure this out. What is this parsing of this word? So that's also available here. And that setting is right here in the context menu. Okay.